Okay, detective, on this particular phone and this messages, there's the term rise up and beloved. Is that something based on your training and experience you can offer an opinion on?
Yeah, it's mentioned throughout multiple G-Shine Bibles, the term rise up. Beloved's just a term of endearment that they're using between each other. On its own doesn't really mean anything, but knowing that these guys are members of G-Shine, it does.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Okay.
Rephrase your question.
So in terms of the term HURK, H-U-R-K, on this particular message, is that something you've seen before?
Yes.
And what does HURK mean?
HURK is a term used by members of G-Shine to refer to each other. It's like calling each other bro or dude, same thing. Members of G-Shine call each other HURK. That's one of the terms they use.
And on the December 1st, 2018, this particular message, is there another term that would indicate G-Shine affiliation?
The rank designation is SCARI. He's addressing the person receiving that message as an Ascari.
Okay.
He's not just saying the word Ascari.
Understood. In terms of the last message here that looks like December 29th of 2018, you could read that one aloud, please, and I can make it bigger.
You have many other hoods that have productible aspects in motion, and it's time for us to put a form of some businesses into existence so we can grow as a family. We are already established financially, so we want to combine with you in the form of growth and development and endure prosperous ventures as a collective.
Going on to January 27th of 2019, is it the same use of the term beloved?
Yes.
Then it says line up some venues. Detective Polo, I want to ask you, if someone is a member in any sort of music group,
Yes.
why would they be talking about venues with someone who is identified as a godfather?
Because they would need to get
Sustained.
So, Detective Polo, I want to back up and go into your training and education and experience on areas of control by specific areas under the blood gang hierarchy. You mentioned that there are different sets in different areas of the country.
correct.
In terms of the various neighborhoods and various businesses within that neighborhood, do you have training and experience as to how access to those businesses are controlled?
So if you're in a neighborhood that is predominantly controlled by a specific gang, whether it be the Bloods, the Crips, whoever, and you are trying to go to that neighborhood, you need to have almost like an approval to be there. If not, you might, if you're in the wrong neighborhood, you might get approached, and the repercussions could be different for every person, but the point is you'll probably get confronted.
So I want to move on to some of the other messages that you've gone through, what's been marked as states W. It's been previously provided to defense counsel. I'm showing you states W. Prior to coming to court today, did you have an opportunity to review this document?
Yes.
Does that document fully and accurately depict 5 different chat conversations between the individual using the 9807 phone number and some of the individuals you talked about previously, Gino, Perk, Jaquan Burton, etc.
Objection.
What's the objection?
That this witness is not in a position to attest to whether that accurately reflects conversations between two people that he was not a party to.
Sustain.
Does that accurately reflect the conversations that were captured on the 9807 cell phone extraction?
Yes.
In terms of, is there any additions or deletions from the cell phone extraction?
I don't believe so. I didn't see any in red. Usually when they've been deleted.
Do they fairly and accurately depict the conversations on the 9807 cell phone?
Yes.
Now, at this time, the state would request to move states W in and publish to the jury.
I object, Your Honor. Improper foundation, insufficient foundation.
Thank you. Objection overruled. It'll be admitted.
No. States W.
States triple W will be marked states 70.
So, Detective, I'm going to go through and start with some of the pictures that are in this exhibit. Okay.
Reference the pages as you go if you don't.
Will do. So starting and going on, which is labeled as page 6, and this is a conversation that starts out with an individual named Foley and the 9807 cell phone number. Are there pictures that are sent back and forth between these individuals?
Yes.
So, and with Your Honor's permission, I'm going to switch over so I can pull up the pictures from the digital version.
So the record's clear, counsel. What's the exhibit number?
This is still the same exhibit. This is just the digital copy so that we can access the photos.
So exhibit 770.
Yes.
Thank you.
So in terms of the images that were sent, were you made familiar with Jamel Demons?
Yes.
Can you point him out in this particular photograph? I'm sorry, it's no longer a touch screen on that, I don't believe, because it's now in this.
Subject blank shoes jumping.
In the center of the frame?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor. May the record reflect that the state pointed to it and he identified the person to whom the state pointed.
So let's go to a different one. Do you see the defendant Jamel Demons in this photo?
Can I stand up, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you.
In terms of the hand gestures or signals that he is making, is that anything that you can comment on with your expertise?
So east side sign, using east side blood, and that's a whole blood sign, that's a blood sign.
You have to speak up.
I'm sorry, sir.
Well, I'll talk to you now.
And so you first said the east side one, is that being done with his left hand or right hand?
I don't know if I have pictures. East side's being pointed forward.
Okay.
And then the other hand is kind of crooked, so I can't tell if he's doing another east side or if he's doing this, which is a blood hand sign.
Those are both from page 6 of State 70. Going now to page 14. You indicated that some of the emails were identified as a specific individual. Who was that?
Derek Dixon in the emails was identified as Gino, and Gino, this phone number was identified as Derek Dixon. One and the same person.
In terms of the messages here on page 14 of State 70, the first message on September 16th of 2018, what does that say?
I'm sorry, say that again, which one?
The first
This one? Oh,
Sorry.
Gino locked me into love, and then took out the C and put an X.
Okay. Then the next message, the response from the 9807 phone number. What is that?
050, that's blood code. He, later on in this text thread, he explains it.
Okay. Down to the next one from the number that's identified as Gino. And what message does that say?
Me and the Godfather, the GF, talked about you till we come into your show in Orlando.
Okay. Moving on to page 15. In this second message here on page 15, what are we looking at? The 050 means on point. Could you translate that, please?
Gino's, the subject saved as Gino is explaining what the code means so that the recipient doesn't mess up when the Godfather questions him. It says it down below. Just a few things the Godfather might hit you with, I'm making sure you're on point. So it's saying 050 means on point, DL means I got you. And he proceeds to give other definitions. SL means shine above, greetings and responses are rise and shine, I shine, you shine, rise up and bop, and shine right, my shine, plan to gold. So these are all things that were written in that original document we went over.
And that original document, in terms of the date on that, do you recall for the set date?
September something. I think I have it here. September 16th, 2018.
September 16th. So in some of the responses from the 9807, again, that term HERC.
Again, it's just a term used between members of G-Shine. He's just responding, recognizing, just using G-Shine terms.
Okay. Continuing on through the month of September on page 16. In terms of the message here from the 9807. Clear so we can see, what does it say there?
Just checking in. The C is taken out and the B is put in its place.
And can you explain what, or translate the September 21st, 2018, 11:26 p.m. message from Gino?
Just asking if he's all right. If everything's good. He responds that everything's good. 050.
Can you explain what is a square?
It's reference to
Page 19.
square is a narcotic slang for typically a kilogram of any type of narcotics, so cocaine, heroin, whatever.
Objection, Your Honor.
What's the objection?
404B, 403.
Watch from side.
So Detective Polo, in terms of your training and experience in narcotics and gang investigation, what is a square?
Square is in reference to a kilogram of any type of narcotic that is sold in kilograms because it's shaped like a square.
Okay. So I want to talk now on page 21. On September 23rd, 2018, 6:25 p.m. Can you read those two text messages and then help to assist in the understanding of what they mean?
Page, I'm sorry.
21.
So the guy hit is who he moves through on that. He got the Skittles. The next one too?
Yes, please.
Bro with that square, want to know what you want for a hook and a verse.
Okay. And can you explain what the Skittles in that message?
So that language has evolved, the Skittles, because right now the Skittles are something completely different. Back then it was talking about ecstasy pills,
Okay.
MDMA pills, those have to be ecstasy.
And in terms of looking in context, the message before that on September 23rd, 2018, 6:23 p.m. with what is a Z?
A Z is short for a zip. A zip is slang for an ounce. Call it that because you put it in a Ziploc bag.
Okay. So going on to page 22, there's a different phone number that's listed on there. Tell him to call.
Right.
And what phone number is listed there?
954-376-9158.
Okay. The next message, if you could read that one on September 23rd, 2018, 9:58 p.m.
He got it. Yeah, Herc, his name, image, he's very important. He's going to give you some, baby. He's over the whole South Carolina.
When you talked about earlier about areas of influence, is that what you meant?
Yeah, so especially with the lineups that cross state boundaries, you would need to know where your higher-ups are reporting from. Because if you say, I report to Stretch, you're going to say, who's Stretch? Especially if they're not part of your lineup. If you say, I report to Stretch out of South Carolina, then they can double-check you and reach out to their contacts in South Carolina and make sure that Stretch is a real person.
Okay. Continuing on to September 25th, 2018, another message from on page 23 for Defense Counsel.
Thank you.
Is this again referring to the same image name from the previous?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what the baby is?
Only the brick.
Okay.
Small like a baby.
And the response?
Haven't heard from him 20.
Okay. So then moving on further down that page on 10:08 p.m. What does Gino ask?
The number identified as Gino states, DL, did you get your date for the Savannah State Show?
And the DL, what does that mean?
Do you get, like, I'm sorry?
The DL, does that have a specific connotation or meaning?
Yeah, it does. I'm drawing a blank right now, sorry.
That's okay. It's been a long day. We'll come back to it. So with regards to the next line on that, what does that one read?
Yo, the GF Godfather gonna call you, take out the C, all you today, make sure you UAV, you're on point, basically.
And the response was?
Everything's good. All fine.
So I want to go then again to the digital version to reference this picture here. So Gino the number identified as Gino ending in 4281 sends an image, and this is on page 24 for council. In terms of this message and thing, can you translate as to what it's talking about?
Looks like it's a picture of another phone, taken with a phone. Contact name tall. The person holding the phone writes, "Did you ever skyline with him?" So did you ever connect with him or talk to him? He's dying to talk to you. Melly, that is. And then he says he's going to have to hit him up today.
Says what? I didn't hear that.
He's going to have to hit him up today.
So then continue on to the DL line. Is that what?
Tell him they'll be expecting him.
Okay, and then the next response.
Want you to groom him, show them the meaning of the chain of command, safety and security, show dudes something different.
And the response.
I got you. I just know that by him talking to you.
Object to the hearsay. This is an image of a conversation between two other people.
Why don't you come for a second?